Hey guys, what is going on? I'm back to break down round 7 of Super Rugby. Take a look at the ladder. I guess feast your eyes on it if you're an Australian, because this is quite a rare sight. An Aussie team is at the top of the table, and deservedly so. The Queensland Reds are number 1. After doing enough to beat the Force, I wouldn't say it was a comprehensive performance, but ultimately the Reds just have that magic recipe right now. Forward power, good front row, including a former All Black at prop. Halves are tight. Tate McDermott has really blossomed into a good leader, whether he's coming off the bench or starting. And they got lots of firepower in the back. So I did tip the Queensland Reds to win, and essentially because of the Crusaders' capitulation on the weekend, that created the opening for the men from Queensland to go to the top. So listen, almost halfway through the season, this is a big shake-up, and this is fruit being born from the fact that the Aussie teams have gone from 5 to 4. Talent pool is not stretched thin like a pancake. Aussie teams look stronger, and then you get this result. So I'm actually happy to see that. I do think that the Chiefs will be coming for them. They're resting up. They've had a bye week. We'll obviously preview round 8 shortly, but just when you look at that ladder, keep in mind that the Chiefs are laying in wait. But let's talk about the game of the weekend. I did a full video breaking it down. The Crusaders versus Moana Pasifika. I've had a chance to sleep on it. Man, in retrospect, the warning signs were there for the Crusaders. They have looked a little bit shaky at times. You know, they put the Blues to the sword at Eden Park, but it wasn't a vintage performance. I said that at the time. Even though they were rock solid in the set piece, even though they were fluent in the backline, it still wasn't as commanding as we've seen them during Razor's 7-peat. And I just think right now they're a little bit discombobulated, particularly in midfield. You know, without their leader, David Havili, who we joke about on this channel. He may not be your favorite All Black, but he's a wonderful Super Rugby player. He was scratched before kickoff in this game, and I do think that reshuffle absolutely hurt the Crusaders. You had Levi Moore coming off the bench. He went to 13. You had Dallas McLeod, who's been playing at 13. He went to 12. And it is telling that much of the damage done was in the middle of the field. They were leaking tries in that midfield channel. Very un-Crusaders-like. That was one issue. I have to say, second issue was James O'Connor not fully firing at 10. I rate him very highly. I'm not taking back any compliments for this 50-plus capped Wallaby. I just think he should be coming off the bench and bringing the Crusaders home with his experience, with his nous, with his cool, calm demeanor, and his good option taking. Not sure he is the man in his mid-30s to be running around for 65 or 70 minutes. I would prefer Taha Kemera to be starting these games for the Crusaders. I think they have the right formula with Kemera starting, James O'Connor finishing. And they went away from that formula this week. Look, they rested a few people. One of them that stood out to me was Tom Christie. I think they needed him out there because, let's just talk about the elephant in the room, the breakdown. The Crusaders were absolutely annihilated at the breakdown. They gave away penalty after penalty. Moana Pasifika was all over them. And it wasn't just Ardie Savia. Paya, Faialangi, Miracle Faialangi. Those three working together. Hell of a loose forward combo. And they were simply quicker to the breakdown. There were more jackals affected by them. Crusaders were blowing off the park in terms of the breakdown battle, and they were just never going to win it the way they played. So Christie needs to be back in there. He's the closest thing to an out-and-out jackler. I do think that he could have countered some of that threat from Savea, Faialangi, and Paya at the breakdown. Ethan Blackadder, to me, had a very good return to form. He was a good link man. He had some great defensive acts, kind of cleaning up a few line breaks. When Moana Pasifika would bust through, make some meters, he'd be there to shut it down. He's always diving on loose balls. He's always doing these tasks that go unnoticed, but he's a good glue man in the loose forwards. The problem is they were just missing some out-and-out speed. So I think Christie has to come back into the reckoning. And in terms of the Crusaders turning this around, look, Tamaiti Williams probably needs to start. Cody Taylor needs to start at hooker. They need all their All Blacks back, all hands on deck. Otherwise, there'll be more losses like this. On a positive note for the Crusaders, Noah Hotham really shone at halfback, sniped well. You can see why he is absolutely in All Black contention. And look, I mean, they can still call on Sever Reese and Will Jordan, absolute superstars in their back three, not to mention Macca Springer, who's been a try-scoring machine. So listen, there's no shortage of talent. This was just a really bad day at the office, and they were out-passioned and out-muscled by a Moana Pasifika team that just wanted it more. So super stoked to see that. Very happy for Tana Umanga, the coach, and his men. They delivered the boil-over of the season so far. So that's why the Crusaders are where they are. Moana Pasifika have been the bottom dwellers. If they keep playing like this, they could make a run for the top 6. Never say never. Well, the Waratahs' place in the top 6 certainly is looking a little rockier after what the Hurricanes did to them, 57 points to 12, an absolute drubbing down in Wellington. And we've talked about this on the channel. I don't think we're surprised that the Hurricanes won. I think we're surprised by the magnitude of the score, 57 to 12. But this is sort of what happens when the All Blacks cavalry comes back and they are in form. You've got Tyrell Lomax. You've got Asafo Amua. You got Ruben Love back from injury. He's played a couple of games really trending back to his best form. Some majestic touches from the young fullback, including a 30-yard out-the-back pass to his flying winger outside him. Just extraordinary. The Ruben Love-Kenny Naholo combo is dynamite. So really impressive stuff from the Hurricanes. They do blow hot and cold, a bit like the Wellington weather. So we'll see if they can sustain this. I'm not really at the point of being fully confident that they will. I think this is sort of a classic Hurricanes move. When they're on, they are on. They will blow you away. They will hit 50 points. They will be running in tries from their 22. But when they're off, different story. You know, they're not a team that wins ugly too well. The Crusaders at their best know how to win ugly. Even the Chiefs have been able to win ugly in recent years. Hurricanes tend to win pretty or lose, and that's what worries me for them, as well as the 61% goal-kicking percentage of Hohepa, number 10. And Ruben Love hasn't looked too flash with the goal-kicking either, so I'm just sounding a little note of caution here, even though I love the Canes, thought they put on the performance of the weekend along with Moana Pasifika, but those goal-kicking stats could hurt them as the competition tightens up, as defense comes more to the fore. So we're excited about the Canes. They're looking a lot better. Not quite ready to count any chickens yet. I want to see about another month of consistent play from the Hurricanes before I get too excited. One team I'm not excited about would have to be the Highlanders. Bless their cotton socks. They gave away way too many penalties at scrum time again. So that's kind of how the Brumbies got on top of them. The reality is the Brumbies rode that scrum dominance into a win. Gave them field position, gave them possession, gave them beautiful opportunities to attack, and the men from Australia's capital were more than good enough to seize it. I did tip them to win. They seized the day. They deserved the win. No complaints there. Just feel that the Highlanders are lacking a bit of finishing power, a bit of strike power outside Tava Tavanawai, who's been one of the finds of the season. And, hey, I'd be calling him up into an All Blacks jersey. But apart from that, not enough experience in the front row. And if you lose an All Black like Ethan de Groot, suddenly it's looking very thin. And with that set piece malfunctioning, unfortunately, the Highlanders are not going to be in the title picture when it comes down to the playoffs. Not like this anyway. A miraculous comeback is certainly possible. There's talent in the team, but let's just call it like it is, guys. If you're giving away 5 scrum penalties in a game, you're not helping yourself. All right, guys. Pretty interesting there seeing the ladder. Man, Reds on top. We'll see how long that lasts. I'll be back to break down round 8 of Super Rugby, and I'll see you then. Meanwhile, like, subscribe. I love you lots. Take it easy. Bye for now.